We're back with the questions and answer session. If you watch this, even watched the previous episode where we talked about a lot of things, not everything I planned on to, just talked. Check it out up there, top left. If you've missed it, we discussed things like the latest ISC, derelicts, a host of different things. So make sure you check that out before you start watching us here, because this is going to probably going to repeat a couple of things here, or some questions will be asked that have context about that. So, and actually, of course, I'm still joined by Darjanator and Nazeris YT. Check out their content as well. So, without further ado, let's get into
I think I'm still running Darjanator.com.
Darjanator.com? Yeah. As you still have it? Because I think that's what I have it on. I'll probably have that link down below on the.
Is there an exclamation mark Darj that works?
No, not yet.
No. Is that a question? Okay, yeah. Okay, so we'll get to that one. I think
Top
how
left.
everyone's just like,
I said top left and I pointed top right. It's that direction over there, whatever it is, because this gets flipped and reversed a little bit.
Stage left.
Yes, stage left.
I like how I would call for questions and it was like, so this is junk, isn't it?
All right. Without further ado, let's get to the first question from Ionic Gecko, who asks, this one is more for Naz, but I would like everyone's opinion. How do you feel about hacking now? Oh, right. Famously, Naz hated the hacking mechanic.
I haven't get that sense, yeah.
After getting slightly more information, are the hacking deck and use of console commands good additions?
It was amazing to hear them say, put in commands, and then not to say anything about moving around an environment. It was perfect, and I still hold on to my original, against that image, I still hold my original comments, but to the function that they talked about, that is much closer. And the fact that they're talking about all of that different stuff for what they're looking at right now is very interesting. Hopefully,
do you not like 3D Pac-Man?
No.
I like Pac-Man. I love Pac-Man. I can play Pac-Man better than anyone in my house. It's Pac-Man, not hacking.
Yeah. I will also say that I'm glad that they've taken at least some advisement under things. Like, for instance, because that same episode, you're talking about that, I was discussing the ideas of using like a deck where you have different programs that you run depending on what you needed to do. And which is cyberpunk as fuck. That's just cyberpunk to a T, and it fits with Star Citizen's aesthetic, and it works. I think that's something they're going for, at least something I like that, which is nice because nobody likes pipe cleaning missions and Pac-Man.
I'm really glad that they made sure to clarify it is not put in, hit button, or just do some menial thing. There is some active gameplay when doing it.
Yeah, and it'd be amazing if you had like the hacking tool was your repository of different scripts that you're basically activating when you're inputting the hacking commands.
I want a gonk droid just full of these different like chips that follows me. Just like I go up to a computer, aha!
And it's gonna be gonk droid with arms, so it's gonna be a caddy. And if people have watched our Wretched Hive tabletop, they will know about the gonk droid
with arms. Not even funny arms, like guns, like human arms.
I said gonk droid, but the picture I'm thinking of is the Toyota, like the Toyota little thing that delivers food. Was it Honda?
Yeah, Honda had the walk-in robot that looked like it shot itself.
Yeah. I think he's talking about the rolling one. The rolling one.
The four wheels.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
No, Star Citizen does have a lot of stairs.
Yes.
Use the R2D2 rolls. Just give it jets.
Yeah.
No, but one thing about hacking is like then they need to be different tiers of difficulty, not in terms of game difficulty, but player skill difficulty. Yeah. Like I want the Pac-Man game to be there because it's basically you buy software that does the hacking for you. The Pac-Man game is just you guiding the software and telling it what it needs to do. But that's going to take a longer time. It's going to be more expensive in the long term, but it's going to be less complex from a player point of view. But if you want like really nerdy hacking with, okay, now I need this script, run it. Then I need this script, run it. Sure, I'd like that to do, and if it's more efficient.
As long as the Pac-Man game has, like, it's the, like, topography of the inside of the computer, kind of like Tron-like.
Yeah.
So it's instead of, like, you're doing point A to point B, it's you're in the computer, now go find your file.
Yeah.
Go find your data. It's more of an exploratory, I have this UI because I'm not really good at it, I can't just, like, I need this file.
Yeah.
You have to go and find it.
Yeah.
That'd be okay for people who aren't me.
I'm glad to see some changes, because even the Sneakily Peekly this week was hacking. Yeah. So
Which one?
It was a tool.
it's a new hacking
like
tool.
a handheld thing.
Oh yeah. Where he was, it wasn't like cargo deck stuff, and like, but the cargo deck stuff. I want to drive the things, but hacking.
Yeah. All right. Next question comes from Midnight Black SC, who asks, "What's the point of the new Hoverbike? What does it do that other bikes don't? It makes them money."
It looks different.
Yeah.
It doesn't have guns.
Yeah.
So it's worse.
It's worse.
Yeah, but I've driven it, and it goes about 200 meters per second on Daymar, which is good for the Daymar rally. So it's as fast as the Nox, which managed to finish the 550 kilometer track in 54 minutes, which is
bonkers. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
if Hoverbikes are too fast now.
Yeah, they are. But they are super fun to drive, and it's
more stability.
And it works.
Yeah.
It looks like a snowmobile, and I love it.
You know what we need?
Why do you have so many ships in the single-seater fighter with a bit of cargo?
Because people want
brackets.
different varieties of that.
Exactly.
It's the what we were saying last video with like Naz was saying. It's like sometimes you just want every ship to have every manufacturer to have every ship.
Yeah. I like the thing. I haven't driven it. I will buy it in game for sure, and I will probably have several of them to put in like every ship just because.
It's kind of small, isn't it?
I like it.
It sounds great as well. So it's got this really aggressive, futuristic boot up sound, and I do like the new way you control it. Cat or dog? I forgot. Cat.
Well, not my cat either. It's my brother's cat.
Show the cat.
It's a tiny cat.
Tiny cat. It just crawled under my door.
Oh, like that. Well, you either have huge gaps between your door, or that is
2-3 inches.
Cats are liquid. Cats are
liquid. Cats are liquid. Absolutely.
I have that little. Why do you have 2-3 inches?
That's a very long question. This house was built by people who really didn't like people living in it.
I see.
Hey, that's not for your consumption.
What was it talking about? Oh yeah, I like the way you can now control them and get off and on them, because they don't they don't just ricochet off into the horizon as soon as you look at them wrong when they're powered off.
Yeah,
and haven't tried it with the 400i in its bike garage yet.
Yeah, it's a good question. I think the legitimate question is, why are we getting a new consolidated Outland bike when we don't have the X1 yet?
Because the X1
and the Ranger.
Well, I mean,
the Ranger's a different tech.
I know.
But even then, like the X1 was already sold, and now you're selling a new bike that's released. Like I get it. CIG needs to make money, and they want to do things, but like, why? Like, fucking fix your goddamn like sell or like you'll still sell them when you finish the X1. People will buy it because it looks like Megatron. It's fine. It's fine if it looks ugly. People will buy ugly things, and it fits in the 400, and you already released the 400. So, like, why the fuck? It's because they want to make money, but at the same time, it seems like odd because it's like any ship you release, you're going to make money with. It's just because you're bored. No, I don't know.
It is odd.
All right.
Small stuff is odd.
It's possible that just because we had an Origin release very near past.
They're also working on the what's it called, the look and feel palette what's called the document that says what stuff looks like.
The design sheet, design document.
They have a term for it. Anyway, they're working on the consolidated Outland one.
Okay, it's like a style guide, I think is what it's called.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Yep. So because they've got they had the Mustang, they reworked the Mustang, and then they had the Nomad. Now we have this bike. So they're
the Pioneer's
they're
look
working on the
completely different than it did in the commercial, just because
it
won't fit the style guide.
No. All right, let's go and move on to the next question, which is, I think, mostly for me. Michael the Arc 42 asks, given that CIG likes to have analogs for real-world culture and game, which system or planet do you think is the Florida of UEE?
There is one. Oh, what is it? There is one, though. Is it the one where they live in the canyon?
I mean, there is that one.
It's just like, this place is a horrible place to live. We're going to live here.
I forgot the name of it.
Why?
There's a place that's like Pyro, where it's like you if you lived on the surface of the planet, you would be irradiated. So they have to live underground, and they still live there for some reason. I can't remember the name of it, but that is definitely where it would be space Florida. Sometimes my brain fails me, so
that's going to be Space Florida Man is going to be from there.
Yes, because like
retirees,
The only other places that I could imagine is Green, which is super wealthy and super posh, because that doesn't really fit with Florida's meth-addled gator side.
I mean, it does, because there's two sides of Florida. There's the We Retired and Disney, and there's the everyone else.
Yeah. Well, then you can also have the much more of the everywhere else, which is why am I blanking on the name? It's Lear, but Lear isn't really Florida. That's more like Space Australia. Everything is there designed to kill you.
I kind of like the son of Gossman.
Yeah, Gossman. Gossman. There we go. Goss. That's the answer.
Kind of like a mix between a superhero and a meth addict. Yeah.
So Goss is the answer. Goss is Space Florida.
Wait, what's Star Citizen meth?
Star Citizen meth? It's not neon. It's not Widow.
Widow?
No, Widow's weed.
Got Slam, Maze.
Slam. It would be either Slam or Maze.
Slam.
Yeah, Slam.
Slam, probably Slam. Yeah.
I can't wait till they have each of these drugs doing what they're supposed to, and so you can actually partake.
It'd be interesting because some of them won't make no sense for you to use, but they could be good use for medical purposes, like using Widow to as a pain reliever if you have it.
And all of them have RP reasons.
Yeah.
What's the sort of legality when it comes to taking illegal substances in video games?
If you don't call it
by its original name,
counterparts, you're good.
It's okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But they already have cigarettes, so they're already on. So
sure. Yeah. And GTA 5 had actual weed. Did you do?
So. They never call it marijuana though. Yeah. They never call it marijuana though. They call it dope, weed. So they never use the actual term. That's the way that they kind of got around it, because they use their own funny nicknames for it, even though it was basically that. All right. So Ormore Tag 1 asks, when will we hear about the research and farming?
5 years.
Yeah, not anytime soon. That is down the line.
There are devs that are in a higher spot in the company that hate farming. They hate the thought of it being in the game. Not like anyone with power to make it not happen, or at least not that they don't want it to happen. They facepalm every time they hear the thing. It will happen.
It's like John Crew whenever you mention the Endeavor. Whenever it's mentioned, you see the ship team physically go, oh god,
we're gonna hear you. It's gonna be a shitty man for
farming. And what was the other one?
Research. Scanning needs to be in a better spot. Like, we got ship scanning for ships and mining that is better, but we did just for more things like gases and far away.
It was like 2 years ago. They were saying hey, we have no idea what research and that kind of science is yet. We will they have some vague idea of what they want to explore, but they have not gone and done the exploration yet.
But the thing is, research gains new technology. So they're gonna have to create a bunch of new technology and just leave it unannounced.
Not necessarily. You can research a planet.
That's more
Sure,
science researchers. Like it's more
Yeah.
more exploration based.
That's more exploration than actual proper research. Yeah, like if we're talking research, that's gonna have to be
Like you can do research on weapons. You can do research on. I think research is going to be more figuring out the world we have, and the forward researchers will be NPCs and lore driven. Like you go give to research outposts you do now, and that fuels them looking into new researches. And when those come out, the players can then research those things that have come out.
I guess, but they're gonna have to get a couple of more Tony Zorovics to start thinking up of all the new things.
Yeah, well, I mean, here's the thing: they could also just the research. They even talked about this before. It could just simply be modifying existing ships and weapons to improve some aspects and reduce other aspects, or just RNG stuff like that, overclocking stuff like that. But the answer is to that is both of those are very far away.
Sure, but then you have the Endeavor with the space telescope on it. You know, that sort of research is what comes to mind, and the particle accelerator.
Yeah.
Players are currently doing research. They shoot a ship, and they're like, it takes this many shots of this gun to hit this thing. They write it down. It ends up being research.
Well, the only difference between fooling around in science is writing it down.
Data first.
Yeah, fooling around in science is writing it down. Yeah. All right, let's go to the next question. Origin 325A or Aegis Titan? Depends on what you want.
Yeah. Like,
the
I hate
Origin
those kinds of questions.
The 325A is a much better fighter than the Titan. Hands down, will beat a Titan. Similar skill players will beat a Titan almost daily.
If you're in a hard science, you want the Titan every time.
But for a daily,
so space shuttle-y.
Yeah, for a daily, I would say Titan. I had the 315p and the Avenger, and I melted the Avenger. No, other way around. I melted the 315p, and I kept the Avenger just because I prefer the way you get into it.
325 does have a rice cooker. For now, it's the only one because eventually you'll be able to go down to the appliance store and buy one for every single ship, including your Carrack and Reliant.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I like the 315p overall, but that's because my gameplay style is more smuggling and high value, low quantity. You're right, and it's fast, it's nimble, it's hard to see. It's great for that. But the 325, if the question is specifically Titan or 325A, then it sounds like you're looking for fighters, and the better fighter in that situation is the 325. Just because of its
If you're looking for an all-around ship, it's Cutlass Black.
Yeah, well, Titan, then Cutlass Black, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I keep thinking of like different ships, and everything. Just like if you're 1 to 2 people, like if you normally play alone but like buddies, you do either FPS or cargo. Actually, a little bit of everything. The Cutlass is just there. It just hits exactly, and I hate it so much. It just is so good at just enough of everything to where you can actually go do some low dogfight missions. You can do boxes. You can do light cargo. You can do FPS missions. It's too good. It's too good for its own good.
All right, next question is from Cryptid513, who asks, when do you believe we will see anything about the Pegasus? As Naz has pointed out last time, Squadron 42, Episode 2. That's probably when we'll see it, if we see it.
Yeah, we
will see it. Is that the pointy one?
That's the one that looks like half of a Bengal. They took a Bengal and you vivisect it in twain. So you have like the deck, and then it's got like a big one tube, which is the let me pull it up for you. I'll show you.
Yeah, you do that. I'm thinking 2 to 3 years after the release of Squadron 42 Episode 1, assuming that they don't cut dev time and work on Star Citizen in the meantime.
Yeah, it's the pointy one.
Yeah.
Okay.
You see what I mean, though? It looks like a vivisected. It only has one big engine on the right on one of its sides.
It's not an engine.
I hate that.
Is that a bay?
That's the cargo. That's the fighter bay. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there. I think it's like 8 Retaliators fit in the side bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's a carrier.
It's like 900 meters long or something like that.
Yeah.
The current model, which was the leaked model. Remember, everything got bigger. At 923. Yeah, it is. It is good.
I don't know if players will be able to have it, but yes. Next question. It comes from Darjanator. Why has Darj not just printed himself a new drink-shaped cup?
Don't have a printer at home. I'd love to have a printer at home, but I'd never used it for anything other than maybe a new. Well, the cup is fine. This is fine. I just need the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you could buy them online. Well, you said you already got one.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I have a printer at home.
That's not a 1 to 500.
No.
Fine.
How many pieces did you print it out of? 2.
Also got
that.
SLA? PTG. And then this was my latest print.
But not
cable management.
Yeah, cable management. Cool. I've been thinking about getting into it just so I can with a not a resin but the why am I blanking on it? The spool printers.
Just normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the resin printer.
It's just normal 3D printing.
Yeah. Just because of the things you could do around the house for it. Just like, hey, I need to buy this random off thing, which is only found in China, and the shipping is gonna cost more than the actual thing.
And it's gonna wait for 5 months in California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next question comes from Michael the Arc 42, who asks, what did you like, what did you dislike, and what surprised you about this month in Star Citizen? That is an old cut. That is an old cut there, Mike. That is a very old cut. That's what I used to ask every episode of Captain's Table. What did you like, what did you dislike, and what surprised you?
OBS doesn't like my model.
Yeah. There we go.
Oh, nice. The perfect little runabout.
That's the rear half of the Carrack.
Actually, when the runabout's a bigger ship. Or a bigger class. It's not just a personnel transfer. It's not a shuttle. That's a shuttle.
That's the end of a Carrack. It's the rear mount of a Carrack.
That's the Carrack? I thought that was the... I thought it was the...
That's the front half of the Carrack.
Hold on.
Why?
The little one.
At least you're not roboting. There, I fixed it for you.
Well, that's true.
So are we doing the dislike thing?
Let's go it for it. What did you like, dislike, and surprise you about this month in Star Citizen? I'll start with it. I'll start it. I like that it exists, and I like that it's a free flight. Well, that's my surprise. What did I dislike? Not really much. There's nothing really to dislike about this month in Star Citizen. It was fine. There was nothing too big. What surprised me was the free flight. Apparently, they have done a free flight in February before, but it surprised me because
again. What is up?
I don't know.
There's something iffy going on in the Atlantic. Yeah. I just wanted to show this is the cockpit of the Carrack.
The resin cockpit. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, this is actually poured resin. It's not printed resin, so cast resin, and it's got the little 3 seats, and it's got the mezzanine deck inside it.
So is that one of the official ones or a personal one?
Mm-hmm. That is the official one. Yeah.
Naz, like, dislike, surprised.
I'm having a hard time finding a like.
How about dislike?
It's good. That I knew everything before it happened.
And dislike? Or surprised?
Surprised. Referral bonus.
Oh, okay. Darsh, like, dislike, and surprised.
Free fly is definitely like, because that took me by surprise.
And surprise.
It was a pleasant surprise. So it's gonna be a both. Dislike.
Beery, it's my camera.
Dislike that the monthly report didn't have any pretty pictures with it. It was just text.
There we go. All right. Next question, as Naz fixes his camera because the cat is pulling it apart because cats do that. This is good. Speaking of surprises, Arjon7 asks, "What is the largest surprise that CIG has ever brought for you?"
Are you sure it's not your internet that is falling apart at this point?
It could be. My broadcast doesn't have a problem, but Naz's camera's off because he's trying to fight the cat for it.
Oh,
so what is going on? I don't know. I don't really have, like, CIG is not very well. I guess the Squadron 42 trailer, when they released that, was surprising because they're like, "Here's Squadron 42." Like I wasn't expecting a trailer, but that's about it.
I think it's just every time we see a proper cinematic for either Squadron 42 or one of them just made in engine, I'm surprised at how good they can make it look. Even though the game itself is kind of far from that, especially when it comes to faces and hair. Because we still keep seeing the new hair in the cinematics, but it's still not there.
Yeah. I mean, that's supposedly coming in with 3.18, I guess. Or the next with a DNA update, which is 3.18 or 3.17.
Oh, yeah. You did say that the person that told you this, were they speaking in official capacity when they told you that the new heads are getting...
It's in roadmap. It's on the roadmap.
The DNA is.
Yeah,
sure it is, but the addition to that
the fact that it's the new hair. No one told me that directly. It's just it's in the monthly report. It's heavily implied that it's part of the system because they when they talk about the new DNA system, they reference new hair. So
right, but I thought it was only that they're separating the eyebrows from the skins.
Possibly. That could be the case.
Yeah, I feel like because they haven't said anything about hair tech specifically, something either got bigger as the project got bigger, or something's not done because they said like, "Hey, we're redoing hair," and then nothing.
Mm-hmm. Well, they've showed off the new hair tech with some. The Darsh just dropped.
I'm reconnecting on my end. Maybe they'll fix it. Yeah.
They've said in the past that they, gosh, what is it? Now I'm blanking on it. They've said in the past something about.
Wow! Immediately.
Yeah. I fixed it. There we go. They've said in the past. No, that's what it is. They've actually added the hair to NPCs. Already,
some of them, yeah, some of them at Orison and the new hospital, like the nurses have the new buzz cuts, or the buzz cuts, the new pixie cuts, that kind of look okay, yeah. And I hope that the new tech will fix the sort of lighting issue that old hair has at Orison. Because sometimes you walk outside and your black hair all of a sudden is pink.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
For some reason.
All right. Next question comes from.
But also
Midnight...
beards, I did say beards.
Yeah.
Yep.
Midnight Black SC asks, "This community ready for all the rebalancing that's going to be needed once we hit physicalized damage? Ares Ion drama makes me think no. No, the community is not ready for any changes whatsoever when it happens. It just happens anyways."
The problem with rebalancing is you first have to have a balance to rebalance. There hasn't been a balance.
I mean, there's balance, it's just bad.
they've how much stuff have they disabled now so that they can actually work on a balance?
Yeah, like they've completely gutted everything.
Like, everything's based. All the difference in components, almost all of them, shut off. Everything is the same numbers now.
Shields and I think it's basically it's still the
Shields,
old
power
system
plants,
with hull health instead
Yes.
of armor penetration. Yeah,
because that's coming in with the long-awaited.
Yeah.
damage
and then
effect.
when that I have a feeling they're gonna start balancing the shields again. And they're just not gonna bother because if they balance them now, and then they for an old system, and then they replace the actual physicalized damage system, and they'll realize, oh shit, all the shields are completely out of balance. We have to rebalance them again.
Not to,
So
not to mention power plants waiting on capacitors and chips to get more capacitor stuff. Fire and life supports coming in, so another reason to not balance power plants because they're gonna have more components attached to them. Coolers, because who knows what's happening with coolers right now? There's so much more ship stuff to do.
you're saying there's just not going to be any balance.
Not
None.
for a long time. Not until they sit down and say this is version 1 of Star Citizen. Will there be a good balance?
Yeah, but just but look at any MMO. Like every patch there's something
balance and changes. Yeah, and
Oh,
they'll change and they'll balance things just to keep things interesting. It's just how balances work. Sometimes they'll just throw things around just to change up the meta. All right. Okay, it's a good question. Humptanon asks, littering is becoming a big problem now. Despawn or pick up?
There needs to be more of me. More janitors.
More janitors.
I actually am very on top. I love that idea. Like, I like the idea of getting reputation, good and bad for one, bad for littering, good for actually like picking up stuff. I was in Babbage yesterday. Dozens of boxes for hospital gowns. There were some in my hab. There were some in the hallway. There was even some armor in the hallway. I went out to the Grand Aspire lobby where the hospital is. Dozens, several stacks across the place. It was just terrifying. Like a massacre went on here, and what was left was their gowns.
Yeah.
They were in like the hospital rooms. They were just everywhere. And then the second time I logged in that day, there were some in the train station and in one of the trains. Oh my gosh, they're everywhere. Like short term.
So what we need, but what we need is trash cans. You put it in the trash and it's gone forever. If it's a subscriber item,
when you put it in.
gone forever.
Yeah.
I think they should work like the Minecraft composters or composters for European people.
Yeah.
Basically, you put something in, and a graphic glitch pops up, and the more you put in, the more it pops up. And then when it gets to the top, a janitor will walk out of some closet, do an animation
because they have those.
Yeah.
Well, in the new Guardians of the Galaxy game, they have wormhole trash cans in landing zones.
Of course they do.
It's basically a wormhole that just leads it off into another dimension, or
it's a trash world.
Sends it off. From Ragnarok.
Yeah.
It just sends it all over there. So that's the planet that is going to be Space Florida.
Yeah.
Don't we have one of those though? Isn't there a
Yeah.
Trash planet? Hurston is a trash planet.
But Hurston's its own trash. There's another trash planet.
Magnus? My Magnus is not a trash planet. It's Space Detroit.
Fallen into ruin. Where's the everyone throws their ship on this planet because everyone throws their ship on this planet?
Spider?
Might be Spider?
Cathcart. Cathcart used to be like where they kept mothballed Navy ships, and then the pirates took it over and took all the ships and turned them into a giant floating space station.
Is there another one, or is that the only one?
I don't remember.
I feel like there was somewhere else that even companies threw ships.
All right.
There's so many planets.
Next question comes from Buster the Destroyer, who asks, "Do you ever just get tired of talking Star Citizen, though?" Yes.
No.
And then we end up talking about Star Trek and Star Wars and other space games
and other IPs that have the word "star" in it.
Yes.
More
nerds.
Space.
More space.
I honestly don't. I could talk to anyone about any facet of the game as long as they could stand it. I could
I
probably be a form of
love-
torture for some people.
I love, I love a lot of theory crafting, but I also know how dangerous that can be because the more you theory craft, the more you kind of start putting all sorts of expectations for yourself for what the game is supposed
Promise
to
checks.
be. Yeah.
Like, I like theory crafting, but I like somebody like asking a question, like theory crafting into somewhere where we've already been, and then going and looking it up. That's like my favorite part. Is the collecting of what is there, so that I can know all things. Except for lore, because that's Paul's job. I leave that firmly up to him.
You can collect the lore if you want to. I get tired of being the only guy who does lore sometimes. It's just like, because people have asked me, it's like, oh, well, I want to do a lore series, but I want to step on your toes. I'm like, step on my toes, daddy, please. Like I don't care. Like, we need more people. Maybe you can capture something that nobody else can. All right, next question comes from Solo Fox, who asks, do you think we will see another light carrier like the Kraken made by Aegis, Anvil, or any other ship manufacturers?
Yes.
Yes, but I also don't think anytime soon. I'd rather CIG back off with the large ships until they can catch up with some of their backlog, personally. It's just, like, we don't need
How
more
much
light carriers.
is it in
What
backlog now?
do we have?
Yeah, exactly. I think that actually...
Banner Merchantman?
Not much. Yeah.
Perseus, Polaris, Nautilus, Kraken, Idris, Javelin.
Yeah, right. Yeah, okay.
I'm not counting
X1.
Idris and Javelin.
Ranger.
Endeavor, Odyssey,
Santak Yai.
I mean, those are all like those 9 ships are large ships.
Oh,
you know.
Yeah.
I still say they need to release the Santak Yai at Christmas.
Pioneer. Yes, they do.
Just so you can say that it's Santa Claus brought it for you.
Santa Claus. But like that's the thing. It's like there's so many big ships that they have the backlog to. It's going to take them years because they only seem to be able to do 2 to 3 a year. So. Yeah. I know.
And they can bring new ones like the Argo, the 400i. Yeah,
the ones that they have, they're just kind of pulling out of nowhere, kind of thing. So, all right, next question.
But there's a bunch of unannounced ships and unannounced vehicles also on the roadmap. So they're not technically unannounced because they are on the roadmap as unannounced. So
yes.
There's
also
paradox.
Well, it's separate teams too. Like, there's the teams who are working on the bigger ships are completely different from the teams that are working on the medium and smaller ships. They have some bleed over, but they're completely dedicated. So,
considering the push for Squadron 42, do you think the Battle Merchantman is gonna make an appearance in Squadron 42, or has someone higher up just given in to the push from the community and said we're gonna give it to you fine?
I don't. Is the Carrack in Squadron?
I don't know. Possibly. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if the Carrack and the Banner Merchantman are in Squadron in the sense that they are like background vehicles.
Yeah. Well, you have the Starfarer and you have the Reclaimer as just background vehicles in Squadron 42. So, but the Carrack used to be just like a frontline Anvil military ship before it was available for civilian purchase. That has a lot more credibility to be in Squadron than anything else.
Because we haven't heard anything, and more people would know more about the inner workings of Squadron than I do. But because we haven't heard anything about the Carrack being in Squadron, and they would have mentioned something about it being in Squadron, because they mention everything that's in Squadron when it's released. Like, you're not getting this because of Squadron. I think that there are ships that they work on for old backers.
Yeah, I think
Carrack and Banu being those prime, like, you've been a backer for so long, you've waited for this thing, and to keep you near the project, we actually need to get this done. So eventually, the Endeavor is going to come up because that will be like one of the oldest.
So the CNOU hover quad, is that a Squadron 42 ship or an old backer ship?
We had 3 artists to fill a slot.
Yeah, we had 5 weeks. We had 5 weeks, and they were waiting on the Pioneer to get ready to go. So we're just gonna put something out there, which is why. But get back to
Pioneer.
Why are whatever, like we're waiting on another team to finish up there, so we're gonna finish this, which again makes me go back to why don't we have the X1? Like, just fucking release the X1, guys. Anyways, let's move on because we've got 10 more questions left, and we've been doing this for 40 minutes.
All right.
Yeah. Next question comes from Iona Gecko, who asks, what do you think will be the next major paradigm shift in Star Citizen? Something akin to what medical and inventory did to change the way the game plays. Server meshing is not an acceptable answer.
Okay, well, that wasn't going to be my answer anyway.
I'll start off. It's going to be the dynamic mission system or the dynamic economy. That will completely change how you play the game. It'll completely change how you interact with the game.
I was going to say physicalized damage, but physicalized damage not for ships, for players.
Yeah.
Not just limb damage that the kind of is in already. I mean suit damage.
Yeah.
Like if somebody just shoots you in the arm, not only you're gonna start bleeding from the arm, and lose the ability to use the arm, but also you're gonna have a hole in your, the only layer protecting you from the vacuum of space or whatever harsh environment you're in.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things you're gonna have to carry around with you is gonna be lots of duct tape.
Yes. Yeah,
I think that's gonna start really making people aware that getting shot, it may not be just an inconvenience, but maybe like immediate death, or maybe a slow death, but inevitable death.
Yes. Server meshing is, if it goes well, not going to affect gameplay.
No.
That is the point of the entire thing.
As I try to point out with server meshing recently, server meshing is not some magical miracle pixie dust that'll fix everything. It's a problem. It's an obstacle. The reason why you want to get server meshing done is because you want to get it over with, not because it's going to make everything better. It's just going to let everything function the way it's supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and basically anything that attaches to inventory from here on out will dramatically change the game. Yeah. So cooking will dramatically change the game. Salvage, maybe not dramatically change, not for everyone. Life support systems, that will dramatically change the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden you open a door and your ship is now vented. Because that's when that turns on.
But I don't want it to be just like lack of atmosphere in the ship. I want it to be like jettisoned.
You want the explosive decompression.
Yeah, I want actual physical component to gas transfer. I think that's
if CIG needs to get that into their heads through their directors, this is the one thing they need to not do realistic. They need to go sci-fi, and that's one. In every sci-fi movie, it's open door.
Yeah.
In real life, it's open door, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've watched several hours of content on how decompression actually works and how sci-fi makes it work. It is so much more fun in every sci-fi. This is why they do it in every sci-fi. That it's the vacuum sucks you out.
Mm-hmm.
No, you get blown out.
You get blown out. Yeah.
Yes, but the effect is you open the door and sucked out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will be killed so many times. Like just in the past week, how many times I've went up in my Aurora and opened the door and oh, I don't have a helmet on. Shut the door.
Yeah.
Put the spacesuit on. I'd be dead so many times.
There's gonna be I hope one of the blades is gonna be a suit checker.
Yeah.
just have one of the blade slots, just because there are going to be so many forgetful people. It's going to say you press the button to decompress and it just goes beep beep. You don't have a helmet on, dumbass.
The mother's blade.
Mm-hmm.
Where's your sweater? Where's your sweater? Make sure your helmet's on. All right. It's cold out in the vacuum.
There's going to be an arm, but when you do, there's going to be just an arm that pops out of the wall, just goes.
Yeah. Let me get that for you. Yeah.
You got a bit of schmutz on your visor. Come on.
Yeah.
I just thought of a really great idea for computer blades. Yeah. Basically, if this and that commands, if they give us access to lights specifically and doors, giving us access to build our own if then that statements.
That'd be nice.
For our ships. Like, unless this is hit before door opens, shut lights off. Because that means somebody's boarding the ship.
Yeah, that could also go really bad because
Oh yeah, that can go horribly.
But that's up to you. If you
Exactly.
fuck it up, you're using the systems that are hopefully properly built inside the game to fuck your shit up.
By the way, if anyone wants like a quick FPS tip, always fight with your flashlight on. It just completely disorients the person you're shooting.
It does. Yeah, it dazzles them.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Well,
no,
the
well.
underslung.
Yeah.
Right? That's what it's designed to do. It's designed to dazzle people. So.
I had somebody playing that in Star Marine. It was just like, no, I can't shoot you when you're doing that. I don't know why I can't shoot you, but every time you show up, I die.
Yeah, it's a. I remember Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 when they added those. People would always have the lights on because it would dazzle people because it just wouldn't be able to see well. And
everything in Star Citizen is dark colors and just a bright light.
Yeah, and then so that's the same thing that people are complaining like when are we getting sun visors for when people are attacking me using the sun as their backdrop, like that's the point.
Yeah.
It'd be actually really interesting if you could close the Carrick sun shield, the blast shield, but still have the UI. You could fight just by UI.
Yeah,
because you have the pip. That'd be actually a really interesting. CIG, when's that coming in?
Can you do that from the 890 Battle Bridge now?
I don't think you see anything in the 890 Battle Bridge.
So it doesn't have the UI pop up.
No, it has the UI pop up, but you don't see anything outside of it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. You're only using the UI for it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Battle Bridge. You want to do hard mode? All right, let's move on to the next question because again we've got a lot more questions to go. Naz offhandedly mentioned NFTs. Do you foresee any place for NFTs in the Star Citizen project, perhaps on a secondary player-to-player market? No, not in any kind of official capacity. NFTs, like, to be quite frank, I don't know if there's a future for NFTs beyond a couple of years before that market implodes and blows itself up, like we've seen with crypto multiple times and such. So,
you're buying.
It's also not popular. Just think about it from the perspective. It's not nearly as popular as people think it is. It's actually very unpopular. It's very
okay. Let me use a very vulgar simile or metaphor to describe NFTs for you. You are married to your wife, right?
Okay,
and you have a marriage certificate. You have a marriage certificate and says, "I am married to my wife," but everybody in town still gets to fuck her. But you can say, "I am married to my wife." So what?
Yeah. It doesn't actually have any value.
Actually, pretty good. If you want to know basically my thoughts on NFTs and blockchain basically in general, go look up blockchain. What's it called? Extra credits. They've been running game design videos for years now, and they did one when they saw blockchain on the horizon, and they said, "How can this be used for video games?" And it was very, very optimistic. But actually, the court system is kind of what they were talking about, which is you get this item, and this item gains tags and names and things as the players use them. And after that player has done all the things they wanted to do with this item, it then has so much lore on it of the player's life that they get to either just say, "This is my life," and put it on a shelf, or "I'm done with this item. I want it to have more life," and give it to someone else.
Well, CIG is already doing stuff like that doesn't involve the NFTs, though. CIG, it's kind of like they're going to track reputation with ships and items in game. But you don't need an NFT to do that.
Much like lighting effects have come such a long way without ray tracing, it will be the same kind of thing. You can do the function without being the same thing. Just like you can get lighting that looks real without having ray tracing. You don't have to have an NFT to have a function that is an NFT.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like the answer is they're not popular. They're not a good idea. There's a great kind of breakdown of NFTs called "Line Goes Up." It's a video on YouTube by Folding Ideas, which kind of doesn't just break down like NFTs. It breaks down crypto in general. It's a very long video. Even if you're a pro NFT or crypto person, you should probably watch it just because it's very anti, obviously, coming from that perspective. But he does a good job of like kind of breaking down a lot of those concepts, even from an economic point of view. It's basic economics, but he does a pretty good job of that kind of sort of thing. But I'm not going to turn this into the NFT podcast because I don't. Every time you mention it, people come out of the woodwork to attack you for it. Like like I mentioned. I've mentioned getting my vaccine for COVID, and you'd be surprised how many times in the comment section of a Captain's Table video that I've had to delete people being like, "You're gonna get, you're gonna be sterile, or the government is implanting chips in your brain." It's like they fucking wait for it.
Do you fucking have a smartphone? Like they're already tracking you.
They don't need to, yeah. And they're too busy trying to buy a jet for the military to do that. It would be Apple or Adobe doing that, not the government.
So I know that's going to happen. It's going to pop up in the comments, and I'm just going to say this: as you're furiously writing that NFT comment, I'm just going to delete it and probably ban you from commenting on my videos in the first place, because this isn't a free speech market. I'm a dictator. Get off my channel.
Okay. Also, but seriously, if you haven't gotten vaccinated, get vaccinated. There's been billions of people who have gotten the vaccine and they're fine. That doesn't mean that you're not going to get COVID. It just means that it is far less likely for you to get COVID and far less likely for you to have severe side effects from it.
And spread it to
by being severe, it means ventilator, oxygen, death.
And spreading it to other people who you care about, who may or may not be able to be, including especially little children. Yeah.
I got my booster already, and if it turns out that I need more, I'm gonna get more. Fine.
I get a flu shot every year. I'm a teacher. It's like it's not much difference.
The same thing.
Yeah.
I need to get that.
Next question comes from Captain No Pants, who asks, "How deep on the story of the crew would you guys like to see them develop the derelict sites versus different ways to generate cash from those sites? In other words, does the story matter more than the cash to you in these at these sites? If it's an interesting story, yes. Fallout and Skyrim do a great job of this, where there's lots of like procedural dungeons and stories that are told by the gameplay you play, but someone's already been there before, like, audio logs or just notes. And it doesn't really need to be audio logs for Star Citizen. It could just be text notes. It could be a text written by somebody who is writing their last will and testament or last letter to their wife. It doesn't really, or their husband or their family. It doesn't really matter if it's some in-depth story, as long as it just tells a simple story that you can easily pass. Those kind of things are cool.
But there needs to be tech in the game, especially in UI and mobiGlass apps stuff that makes it easy to collect and distribute that information that you're getting, both audio, video, or text lore bits. And
what they need to do is they need to get a dev team on not mobiGlass computers, because there are tablets, there are pads, there are data bits that are not based on mobiGlass. And as they said when they started mobiGlass, I don't know if it's still that way, is that mobiGlass, the HelloCat, is supposed to be its own UI, its own OS. So data
it's
pads
basically not the iPhone of the universe, but there's so much more that we have.
Right. Like data pads are supposed to be like the normal kind of, everyone has a data pad lying around as like a notebook. So that's where you get like those bits of information. Your
mobiGlass is your cell phone, and the data pad would be like a computer. Like most people have some sort of laptop or other sort of computer. So
I think like the story versus reward is per player. Some people are going for the story, some people are going for the cash. And I know they can do it with the Quanta system. I don't know how much they want to do it with the Quanta system to actually make the stories actually be made while the ship moves. I know they can't do that for everyone, but I think I've said not last time I was on here, but one of the times I was on here, about a procedural story system. Basically, you have beginnings, middles, and ends that are just pieced together on runtime.
So you have like a bunch of placeholder text but a bunch of different log entries that could be filled in, but then certain parts are missing that can be procedurally put in just based on where the ship was and what it did. Yeah.
Yeah, like you have two basic story starts. Something went wrong in the ship. We got attacked by pirates or aliens. So we get 3.
Mhm.
And then you go, we did these many things after we got attacked, and these are where the crew are now.
And I think those are more valuable than money if you can tell it right, and if you can make sure that the person who's completing this knows that they got that. But you also need to have some sort of rare equipment. Not just money, but equipment, because equipment is more important than money at that point. Having some sort of rare item. You know,
when are we getting
pistol?
Like, you know, a named pistol with less recoil, with a better sight on it. Yeah, stuff like that, or an extended magazine. I'd love to have like one of those instead of just having like a magazine that fits into the grip of your pistol, something that extends out of it. Yeah.
All right. Next question comes from Daljust, who asks, with selling coming in soonish, quote unquote, maybe, or brackets, maybe, how do you see the official player to player seller's UI to be? Or do you want an auction house of some subscription?
Yes.
I'd like to see a trade screen pop up in a mobiGlas where you just like offer to trade somebody and you don't have to be within direct content with them, or just the ability to, I don't know, pull something out in my hand and hold it, and then they can take it from my hand.
Yeah. And then you use the existing app to transfer money.
Transfer money, that's fine.
And then get hunted because you stole it.
Yeah, exactly.
I like all these ideas. I do also want like a location-based auction house, because Star Citizen has the space to do it.
Yeah.
And just like we're going to be storing cargo at cargo decks, it would be great to go to a space station, let's say Tressler, and you go to this shop, whatever it is, and you say, I want to put this for people to buy, and
TDDs.
The
trade development. That one. Just make them.
And
those
you can
centers.
even open it up to where that auction house doesn't need to be only players, because Quanta has motivations in it, which is something that not a lot of games do. So maybe that gun that you're selling, or that glow stick or whatever, at that price point, NPCs want it too.
Yeah.
You just care about the money, so you're gonna get paid anyway.
Yeah, it's just an open market. TDDs that's kind of the lore behind them anyways. They're just open markets anyways. So.
Okay.
Bando Merchantman Bazaar.
Yeah.
Just go there to sell.
Kraken has one too, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Kraken's Drake. Shit.
I feel attacked. I feel attacked. I feel like Magnus, the vengeance of Magnus hit Darj right there, because he said it was shit as he was going staticky.
Just because I just feel the creeps walking to Banu stuff, I'll pick the Kraken over the Banu.
Dude, go for it. Like I am perfectly
fine
with people liking
both
what
of them.
they like.
I will put up a tent booth in my Polaris. I'll run a bazaar off of my Pegasus. That's what I'll do.
And I will one day have a sandwich shop in one of the container pods of my Carrack.
There we go. I still want to roll everything else. I still want to pub somewhere.
We need like a t-shirt cannon for like hot dogs and burritos and things.
A t-shirt cannon for hot dogs. That sounds terrible. Amazing.
That's how you feed the populace, right?
Bread and circuses, but instead of bread and circuses, it's burritos and hot dogs. All right, next question comes next question comes from EchoBit, who asks, I'm thinking of running a community racing event in Star Citizen, but I don't have anyone who could stream or shoutcast the event. Do you guys have any suggestions for where I'd go to ask for help? Talk to
Corsair
and Atmo Esports. They're always looking for like they do Demo Rally and they do other things, but if you want to do all of the work, if you want to organize things, and they'll be like, cool, we'll just broadcast it for you. Just come on over and help us, help out.
Corsair needs an assistant.
Yeah, he does. He works too hard.
Yeah.
I definitely talk with them. Atmo Esports, good people. All right, we got only 5 questions left, and some of them are kind of short, so it's okay. Technophi asks, what is the most polished piece of Star Citizen gameplay content there is right now? And what is the most polished gameplay content to be released this year? What will be the most polished? I think the answer is mining? For both. Yeah, mining for both.
Well, we're getting the mining gadgets. That was one of the things in ISC. And did I see right that you can't have both a backpack and a mining gadget equipped on you?
Yes.
That's nice.
Finally. Yeah. Finally, some give and take. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think for my most polished, because I hate mining and I don't like mining. I'm gonna go with ship taking off is the most polished.
Okay.
Oh, I remember when that was just so bad for so many different reasons.
I actually learned something interesting this past week. There's a startup time on the ship. Because I always used to get in, hit R, and just like try and get it off, and it won't get off the pad. It's like stuck or something. Yeah. If you wait 10 seconds, it lifts off beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
If you can look at your EM and IR emissions, like your EM emissions keep going up because more things are coming online, and once
that's actually a startup. Yeah. So I'm gonna go with the takeoff system is the most polished.
All right.
And I think this year we're probably going to see a lot more polishing towards like flight animations and combat and stuff like that, especially if they just start doing
and inventory, hopefully.
Yeah. But I don't think mining is ever going to drop its most polished status for a while, just because.
Because of its lead, and they're all constantly also working on it.
Mm-hmm. All right, McNugget Devondre asks, if we check the roadmap, we can assume 2022 will be the most filled year in terms of immersion gameplay/gameplay loops. Or can we assume that it will be? If we check 317, 318, we have persistent hangars, ship-to-ship refueling, selling items to shop, cargo refactor, FPS radar and scanning, salvage tier 0, hacking tier 0. In worst case scenario, even if they delay them, they won't be delayed to 319 and 320. So to answer that last part, yes, likely everything in that list is still going to make it to the end of the year. Every so often, one or two of those things will probably get dropped, but if they get delayed, they'll more likely. And taxis, yeah. NPC.
That's a really big thing. That's players taxiing NPCs.
Yeah, from station to station only, but it's still
that's like a big thing. That's an entire gameplay loop. Yeah, that's the start of it.
But it also means NPCs navigating complex nav meshes that not only have several areas attached to one another, but are able to detach from one nav mesh and attach to another nav mesh.
Mm-hmm.
So in the next two patches, we have 4 or 5 different gameplay loops. We have selling, we have NPC taxis, we have refueling, hacking, and salvage.
And for those who are wondering what persistent hangars is, it's where you have a hangar that stays where it is. You can go it's basically the hangar system we used to have, but you can go check out your hangar. You just go check out the hangars in real time, and it's where you can store your equipment and store your cargo and stuff like that as well.
So the kind of how it will work is you're going to request landing, hangar will open, you will land inside it, and as soon as the door opens, you're removed with the hangar from the entry point location on the station or on the landing pad, landing zone. So you'll still be in your hangar, but if somebody's following you and requests landing in the same hangar, they'll be able to land in the same hangar, but not on top of you, if that makes sort of sense.
Yeah. We don't know exactly.
Until they finish the interior system, and then you'll go to your house. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
But then the next tier of that is going to be like having your own hangar in an asteroid somewhere in the Aeron Halo.
Yeah. I wonder how many people in chat specifically have gone onto the project. So is anyone in chat, I guess, that has been with the project longer than hangars have been broken?
Hangars aren't in the game anymore.
I know. Okay, yeah, right. They did remove the entire. So, yeah. How many people just say what give them keyword
Type 1. Type 1 in chat right now if you've been in here since you remember hangars.
Yeah, and 2 if you've been in and you've never seen hangars.
I've been here since before there were hangars.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. There was one video that a couple of friends and I did was.
This is bad. You know what's going to happen?
Footage of a hangar.
You know what's going to happen, Naz? Now in the YouTube comments, there's just going to be lists of ones. Some people are just going to be typing one in the YouTube comment.
A lot of newer players are mostly on YouTube.
That's true.
No twos. I've not seen a single two.
No, but people remember.
Oh, there we
there's
go.
One sleazy.
Two. Yeah, but
Helmet flip. No, we don't talk about that. How dare you?
I hope that I'll be that it's not gonna happen. First, it's not gonna happen, but it'd be amazing if someone let's see, Edgy remembers that one video I made that got posted on Wingman's Hangar, which was a couple of friends and me playing poker, and we recorded on a green screen and put it in the in footage of the hangar. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just like one of the things you'd be able to buy a hangar flare is going to be like a games table, like a poker table. So you'll be able to have
just
friends over.
Furniture you can put wherever you can put furniture.
Yeah,
I hope so. Yeah.
No, don't touch that.
He's dealing with cats, y'all. Midnight. We have 3 more questions left, but let's answer that question. Do you think that like all of that stuff's still going to make it this year? You think this is going to be the biggest year? You think some of it's just going to be pushed off? I think it will be the biggest year.
Because every year they get better and better at delivering the stuff, and the core tech gets added, which means people can work faster on top of the core tech. So I think this will definitely be the biggest year that Star Citizen had yet, but I don't think everything on the roadmap will be in this year.
Yeah, like 1 or 2 things. The things, the big things are gonna slide.
Yeah, just remember, stair animations used to be on there. It didn't get pushed; it got removed.
Mm-hmm. And
I want my stair animations.
And the cargo ramps and shit, finding its own place instead of lifting your ship off the ground.
Oh yeah.
That just got removed as well.
There will be stuff that just doesn't need to go in the game right now, and so it'll just be removed.
I could see like hacking getting removed, but they are working on it actively. Like they actually do.
I think the things that they tease are the things that are very unlikely to be removed.
Yeah, that's true. And like I said, but there are 5 new gameplay loops in the next 2 patches. Yeah. Something's gonna give. Yeah. Plus hangers.
I don't know.
Something's gonna give.
I think this may be the year that this may be the year that all of it gets in. I think everything that's in that list is going to make it in. I don't think anything beyond this that's on that list. But it will also determine, like, because we don't know what's still on that list, really. In reality, 317 and 318 could be completely gutted when they do the new update, because they've gone through the meetings and discussed about new priorities and stuff like that. So
remember, all this stuff is just kind of bunched up on these 2 quarters because it was just pushed from stuff they didn't get last year.
Yeah. Come back next week to see what sort of things got removed from the roadmap when we finally get this week's update.
Yeah. Yes. See if I become a salty mess.
And a lot of it is gonna be the tried and true squadrons first.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever stuff they need to do, whatever stuff they need to cut in that list will be cut because they need the resources and time for squadron.
Yeah. Let's move on to the last. You
don't need persistent hangars for squadron, for instance.
No. Yeah. You don't need taxis for squadron.
Nope.
No, you might need taxis.
Just because of the NPC and avmesh thing,
yeah. You don't need selling back.
You know what you do need? Hacking. You know what you do need? Salvage. Both of those are in Squadron. Yeah. Strangely enough, because they've even said that salvage needs to be in Squadron first before it goes into Star Citizen.
Everything needs to be in Squadron first. Star Citizen just gets the slightly more polished version after it's implemented in Squadron. And
I think the cargo refactor is going to get pushed 1 quarter.
I think so too. That's what I mean. I think everything that's on the map now, especially if we come Wednesday, all that stuff is still there. Then I think it's likely that all that stuff will make it in this year. But anything that's added from that is probably not, or like highly suspect for it. So,
you know what's gonna be the greatest thing in the next update in 317? The PTV gold standard.
Yes, the PTV gold standard, buggy standard.
Oh man, I cannot wait to see a HD textured gray cat buggy.
All right, next.
It's so bad.
Next question comes from Midnight Black SC, who asks, with the 600i getting a med bed, I'm starting to wonder, are they OP? Is it a good idea to allow respawning from T2 beds, or should that be reserved for the highest tier? That's an old question. That's a question that me and Tree have had.
Still valid, though.
It is, but I think the answer is it's up to CIG. And if you removed the ability to respawn in T2 beds, you would have the squealing from the Carrick fans would be able to be heard from orbit. The mass melting.
I'm all for.
The mass melting of Carricks would be enormous.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, for respawning to work physically, you need to have the raw materials to create a body. It's like, where is that kept with a tier 2 bed?
Yeah, I mean, the answer, the easy response to that is tier 1 beds are surgical beds, where tier 2 beds are just basic, like, hospitals. So effectively kind of like hospital beds, where you can respawn, you can reprint yourself. But if you print yourself a new organ or new limb for you to be attached, there's no tools to reattach your limbs. You can print a new limb, but if it's not attached to a whole body, it just won't do it. That's the simple answer to that. But and then the other thing that I think we're lacking right now is material. Like, you can print for free now. Like medical doesn't cost you anything. I think eventually, just like everything, and there's going to be a resource cost where you'll have to purchase things to restock your medical supplies inside your beds and stuff like that. So, yeah. You know, I don't think
What's the original question?
The initial question has to do with like respawning from tier 2 beds, and also because the 600i is getting a tier 2 bed, medical bed, does that make the 600i overpowered? And the answer is no.
No, it's
just because they already removed the Cuddy Red from being a respawn thing. So
even like respawn points are not as big as they're going to be, or bigger than they're going to be. Is bigger than they're going to be. They're more meaningful now in this little alpha that we have than they will be, because you're not supposed to die in the full game. You're not supposed to use them. You're supposed to use tier 2 and under. You're not supposed to be respawning every day, even, or every month. You're supposed to go as long as possible, even in combat, as long as possible, months without dying. So you're going to want to get hit, go to a tier 2 or 1 bed, and get back up and go. Respawning is not going to be as big as it is now.
It's going to hurt a lot more. That's the thing.
Hopefully,
The whole process is designed to be painful. It's inspired by the Dark Souls and Demon Souls style of gameplay, where you die, it sucks, but you still have a chance to recover. But you die again, you're back to where you were before. Like, you know, that kind of thing. Something that'll make death hurt enough that you don't want to have to experience it over and over again. And the question about like lives and that sort of thing has more to do with that's the reason why you don't want to print on a tier 2 bed, because a tier 1 bed has really good tech, or tier 2 bed does not. So if you print on a tier 1 bed,
it's going to be a bigger echo if you do a tier 2 bed.
Exactly. Yeah. So that would be the easy way to balancing it. So you could only respawn to a tier 2 bed much fewer times than a tier 1 bed, which could make you say, hey, tier 2 is an emergency respawn bed or like regen bed for like when you're out in the black and you have nowhere to go to a hospital.
It also is a lot like it's balance. Lives is balance.
Yeah.
Also, what was it? Death versus account wipe. That's mostly it's a
Not
percentage of everything you have goes to a next of kin.
Yes. So
or
like
your next account, your next character.
You will have to pay a death tax.
So, yeah.
No.
So
your reputation
physical
actually
items.
Yeah. A percentage of your reputation gets transferred.
All right.
I don't know why. I don't know why it would.
Crime Lord. Yeah, if you were Crime Lord's son,
you still have some reputation.
Sure. Yeah.
If you're the son of a famous war hero, you know, you still have some rep for that. Not as much, but you know.
That's the perfect RP. The son of somebody who finishes Squadron.
Yeah.
That's actually. Oh, I kind of want to do that now. I got to finish Squadron and die so I can be his son.
But does being born to a citizen give you citizenship?
Nope.
No.
No.
Oh, that's right. You have to
have to
either
earn it.
buy it or like.
Yeah.
Isn't it like super expensive or just go through the Navy?
Yeah. Basically.
Maybe
So okay. So how are if you're then your next of kin, do you just go play Squadron 42 again?
Yes.
New Game
No.
Plus?
Yes.
There needs to be ways in Star Citizen to get citizenship.
There is.
It is
There
called
probably
Star
will be.
Citizen.
Yeah. There will be. But the easiest way to do it is still Squadron. So
What if you could rep up in the Navy by doing cargo runs?
yeah,
for the
I mean,
Navy?
I think we talked about this before we did Captain's Table. But one of the things I thought of, the people Cat was talking about was like things like Xenothreat. Participating in things like Xenothreat should give you rep with the UEE because you're actively helping the UEE,
Yeah.
and with a high enough rep of the UEE, you can get citizenship. That kind of thing. It would be a simple way of doing it.
I think they'd have to like chain it. So like because it's the CDF, you'd have to get enough rep in the CDF to get into maybe advocacy. And then do stuff for the advocacy to get to something else.
Well,
because
yeah.
CDF is like, we don't want to actually fund your stuff, so we're calling you over there.
Yeah, but it's still part of the UEE. I mean, it's like working for a volunteer fire department. You can still possibly get the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Yeah, you're not part of the federal government, but you did something cool. There you go, that kind of thing, and it helps the UEE overall.
I guess it depends on how much weight they want to put on citizenship.
Yeah, it's not like a monetary thing. It's not like you're a citizen. Here's a bag of gold. It's like it's like.
Can you imagine how old
it's
we're all
gating?
gonna
It's
feel?
it's basically gonna be gating. Like if you wanted to work for a guild,
you have to have
maybe
citizenship.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Can you imagine how old we're all gonna feel when the next election's up?
Oh God, I don't want to think about it.
What is it?
All right.
What is it now? Is it 9 years or 8 years now?
8 years, 9 years
8
now.
years.
9 years. No, 9 years. It's 2030. Well, when the next imperial election happens.
So it's
really?
8.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, 9 because we haven't lived through 22 yet, but yeah.
Yeah.
Because
all right.
number it's 8.
Christian asks, what ships will have full modularity? Though I thought all ships would be, instead of just new versions of the base model. It looks like modularity is becoming almost an extinct concept.
No.
Modularity is a side. You get either modularity or variants.
Yeah.
Some have modularity in their variants, but they're two different tools.
Mm-hmm.
Like the old what is it called? Bengal, I think, was said to have individual rooms. You slot in what room you need.
Yeah.
Tally.
Yeah.
No,
Tally.
no. There's a capital ship, a giant capital ship that has the page says something about picking rooms that you need, like
okay,
lots of rooms.
No, but Retaliator is also going to be one of those.
Yeah.
But they actually are going to make that. Like I'm guessing system side modularity is already in. They just need to create a player facing interface for it.
Back in October, the SCL I was watching the other day, they talked about that specifically, and they said that what they're working on back in October was they had a way to do it on the art side and to plug it in. They don't have a way to tell the ship torpedoes don't go there anymore.
Yeah.
So because they needed object containers in object containers that own item ports, and that they need the entire hierarchy to be able to connect and disconnect on runtime. And that's what they were starting to look into in October. So they may not be done with it quite yet, but they are actively working.
Yeah, hopefully we'll find out some soon
And as far as
on
the
this
ship
year's ISEs.
Yeah, as far as ships that have full modularity, I think the only full modularity is whatever capital ship that was, and the Caterpillar.
Also,
the Caterpillar.
The Endeavor has that as well.
Oh, yep. Endeavor. Yep.
Yeah, so it's important to think that like the CIG has said in the past, like I remember them saying things like you could swap out the cockpit of the Aquila, the Aquila.
It's either Aquila or Aquila.
Aquila.
No, it's not
Aquila.
Aquila. It's not Spanish.
Aquila.
Italian.
Aquila.
I kill ya. Stab. Swapping out that front for like the Connie, the Andromedas, like taking the Andromeda cockpit out and swapping it for that, or taking the Blues cockpit on the for the Cutlass and swapping the black out for it, or whatever. Like that was they've talked about that in the past. I don't think that was ever confirmed, and I don't think it's actually going to happen.
I think that was more internal modularity.
Yeah.
There was, and modularity is not a new seat.
No.
That's chip customization. That's different.
Yeah. Modularity is more like they want to swap out engines for ships, which is another one of the M50 engine swap is the big one. So
which was also removed.
Yes.
But still, that is
still
the
in the progress
underlying...
tracker. Still in the progress tracker. It's just not on the release view. That's the important thing.
But that is the underlying tech for using the underlying tech for removing an object container with item ports and swapping a new one in.
Yeah, it's
not just the M50 gets new looks to the engines. That's the side effect of it.
Yeah. Yep.
I do not see that on the roadmap.
It should be under there. M50 engine swap.
There's nothing for engine or M50.
Are you looking under teams or deliverables?
Deliverables.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the last time I saw it was on there.
Stuff doesn't normally get gotten rid of off the delivery thing.
McNugget Devondre asked the last question: what happened to the Stalker? We didn't even have an ISC about it. The Stalker, as in the Boreal Stalker, or the Avenger Stalker. So that's
I imagine the Boreal.
I would imagine that absolutely none of the fauna in Star Citizen is even on the minds of CIG at this point.
But it's on the roadmap.
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to be worked on beyond concepting and early development stages.
No, they said the Boreal Stalker was supposed to be in when it was being worked on last year.
Is it on the roadmap though? Who's working? Which teams
implementing the Boreal Stalker creature into the game, created by Mercatech, the genetic engineer, to fill Apex Predator niche. Blah blah blah.
Which teams?
But implementing that would be the Cat team, a character art and tech team.
Okay, so
I doubt it's there. We're gonna see it until we get better AI performance. Just like there's no point in having a Boreal Stalker just staring into a tree.
Yeah.
Just like you get NPCs on station staring into walls.
Or if you could even spawn them in the first place because they're running out of memory for the servers.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. That's the point. It's like
server meshing, maybe.
Yeah,
server meshing is the biggest block for everything. Yeah. It's not some magic pixie dust that'll make everything good. It's just a block that you just cannot get around. They have to get around it in order to you can't work around it. You have to tackle it and make it work for you and then move on. So all right, that's the last question. Thank you so much for all y'all for answering for asking questions. Thank you to Darj and Naz for coming in and answering for us. Thank you all for if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you. Make sure you comment down below, like, subscribe, do all of those things. And yeah, I'm exhausted. I'm going to go get some food and go to sleep. Thank you all again, and like I say every time, hope to see you someday in the black. There you go.
Bye.
Titty Sprinkles Part 2, Electric Boogaloo!
I hate you, Darsh.